Welcome to the best hour of your life that you've ever wasted, the Just Talking podcast. I'm Potato, filling in for Drew, who is feeling under the weather. I'm joined by Dragon and Zeke. Say hi.
Howdy!
Let's get talking. Alrighty.
I like how all of the hosts have to look at something when they read that. It's one line, guys. Come on.
It is one line, but it's extremely long.
Dude, try doing any theater show. Come on.
Yeah, no, honestly, come on.
Come on, guys. I kind of failed theater in freshman year.
You.
I'm kidding. I got a B.
That's even worse than failing.
Yeah, that's an easy A. How did you? I guess if you do none of the work.
Hey, I did all of it except for one assignment.
And you got a B.
And I got a B. I had a very critical teacher.
Wow.
Did you pass theater?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't take an actual theater class, but I've been in shows. Few though. It was most of them when I was much younger, because we did it as a family thing, because we had a lot of siblings and we weren't we were kind of poor. So we just had we were just what can we do that's fun for everybody that isn't going to cost us a lot of money? So we just push everybody into the car and then head on down to the theater where they put on these shows, and they just let anybody participate, because that's the whole, it's called it's called The Sky's the Limit, because it's anybody can participate, no matter what's wrong with you or how old you are, how young you are, they'll find a way to put you in the show. So we just kind of hopped on the wagon and started doing that. So I sort of grew up in that theater environment where singing and dancing and doing all that kind of thing. And then I did one in high school. It is a kind of fun story. The one in high school was I knew about it, but I wasn't super interested. I was it's whatever. I hadn't heard of the play at all. It's called Wait, I Can Explain. And it's basically it's a sort of common story where this guy is embarrassed about his family, so he hires his theater friends to pretend to be his family so that they can meet his girlfriend while his family is supposed to be out visiting somebody, but there's a storm, so they have to come back to the house. And now the girlfriend and the guy are in the house with the fake family and the real family all running around. So it's this chaotic mess. So the play actually ended up being pretty interesting, but I didn't want to do it at the start. And then it's a week before the play is supposed to come on, somebody that I sort of knew through somebody else who was part of the drama club, which I sort of did for a little bit. But I did drama club for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I stepped out because I didn't like the day it was on, and I just wanted to do other stuff after school. But somebody remembered me from that, and then they asked around and tried to find me and track me down, and then somebody I sort of knew was just hey, you want to be in the play? We need you. I'm like, what? What do you mean you need me? And they're there's nobody auditioned. We need people. You're totally fit for this role. Come be in the play. And I'm like, okay, I guess. And this is a Friday. And I show up after school, I show up to the theater and I read the script and I'm like, this is actually kind of interesting. Sure, I'll participate or whatever. And I sort of watch what they're doing and all. And then I go home and then, I look over the script and I have like a weekend to look over it and I read it like 10 times or something. And I come back on the next day and then like, I know the script better than anybody else. And they're doing just talking through it all. And I'm like, no, that's not your line. That's his line, or your line's after that. So I just like stood up these people on my fucking second day in there, but it was a fun show though. I was the real brother, and I was like a edgy edgelord teen kid who plays a lot of the shooter games and stuff. What was it? Death, Darkness, Decapitation and Destruction, I think was the name of the video game that the kid played. It's not just a game, Mom. He said some ridiculous stuff like that. But I had a bunch of fun lines. It was a really short play. It was like 40 minutes or something, but it was a blast because it was just a couple of theater geeks at just putting on. We had barely anybody showed up to it, but it was a good experience.
Dragon, did you ever get to do anything like that, or did you do anything similar?
Yeah, I actually did. Even recently, I just auditioned for something, which was the musical Chicago, and
Ooh.
yeah, that was pretty fun. But what Zeke was talking about with like the 45-minute plays, we do that at my school. We call them black box, and they're student-written plays. They're pretty fun, actually. We do like 3 of them back to back, so they end up being like 2 hours long or something. It's so fun though. There was this one role I auditioned for that I don't think I'll ever forget. It was about these 2 girls, and they're very bitter with each other because they're exes, and one of them did something that wasn't. Wow, people are leaving. But yeah, they were bitter because one of them had cheated on the other person, and yeah, that's kind of like the whole entire conflict is them trying to get over what the other person did.
That was pretty neat.
It was pretty neat.
Like a drama thing.
Yeah, but it was very comedic too at some points.
Oh yeah.
To make the awkwardness of the situation not so bad.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's really good for that sort of format, that short, like 45-minute kind of format, just like a short, self-contained little story thing.
Mm-hmm. So, Potato, you said you didn't do anything like this, but like, I feel like you
kind of similar. I mean, I took the class my freshman year, and I had like one friend in there, and to be honest, it was pretty nice, but we never did anything that was necessarily like a full show. We did more or less like little scene bits. I don't know why it stuck to me, but I had this one thing where we had to do, we had a choice of 4 scripts, and one of them was called, like, The Golden Gate, which was supposed to be a play on the fact that there were people coming through Ellis Island for immigration and stuff, and it was, like, an Asian lady trying to get into the country, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I remember the only good thing that my classmates said was that I could pull off the accent.
Wow.
It wasn't the remembering of the lines, it wasn't the acting, but the accent was good.
No.
I don't know how to feel about remembering that.
Honestly.
Did you guys have theater traditions at your schools? Or, because I know a lot of theaters and like bands and stuff, because I did band, so we had a lot of heavy tradition that would intermix with theater every now and again. But I know that some people had a lot of traditions. Did your guys have any traditions?
Oh my god. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't think we had any specific traditions, but like always right before our last show of a play or a musical, we would go and say something that we will forever, like that we remember from the show. And like even if it was just from like auditioning to the practices, we'd say something nice and something that we want to keep with us. And then we'd all cry before the last show started.
That sounds pretty fun.
I was at like a really small high school that didn't have much of a theater presence at all. Well, the one I actually did it at, I was only there for a year, but it was like I said, nobody even auditioned for the play, or like not enough people auditioned for the play to fill the roles, so they had to like ask around and all that. It's just that we didn't have much of a theater presence. We just had like we had the drama teacher, and so the drama teacher was just like, I want to put on a play, and it'll be a short play, and we'll just get like, we'll see who shows up, because they had really like a small cast in a short play, because it just like wasn't like a theater school, it was just a regular school.
I get that. Ours was I went to a high school that was heavily tradition based, and so it showed in every section. So it went from sports sections to the theater kids to the marching band kids. Like every single one of them had their own like traditions. And the senior year theater kids that were there, usually like all 4 years, I had a few friends that were like more ecstatic to be in it, because their senior year they got to paint a brick in the backstage with their name on it. Band had something similar where we would go down to the pit area under the stage and we would sign our name in our section. So, I mean, it was fun.
There's a little bit of a legacy left there.
There's signatures that I went down to the pit and saw that were from like 2005. Like, there were some older signatures in there. Let's see. Is there anything that you could have done in theater that maybe you didn't get the opportunity to, or you haven't had the opportunity to yet, that you'd like to do?
I've never fallen on stage. I want to fall on stage. I want to roll where I can fall on stage, because I like doing stage falls. I don't know why. It's just kind of fun to just fall.
I had to do
like that. Go ahead.
I had to do a stunt one time where I had to do a flip, and I couldn't find the shoes that I was supposed to wear, and I almost fell all the way forward, like after doing the flip. Oh no. Because I was just wearing socks on stage. And so like I hit the ground, got on my knees, and almost hit my head on the stage.
Goodness.
It was fun.
I feel like the stunts are always the fun parts.
They are.
Oh my goodness. Funny fact, the one assignment that I never did was a choreography assignment.
Really?
It was a choreography assignment. We had to pick a song from a musical and do the choreography for it, right? And I had my group choose Rocky Horror Picture Show, but we never really like dedicated ourselves to learning the choreography, so we never did it. Feels bad. Feels real bad. That's when I learned about Chicago. That's a really good play. It's a really good musical in general.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm trying to come up with it on the spot here. Let's see. Did you guys ever get to do a character that you wanted to do really badly, or is there still one that you wanted to do, or?
I don't know. I didn't think about it much, because it was like there was the one play that I was just sort of forced into, and then all of the other ones I was like super young. I remember bits and pieces. I especially remember at one point we did Seussical, the Dr. Seuss musical thing.
Yes.
And I was the elephant bird. I came out of the egg, and I was, a little kid wearing up in the elephant bird costume, and I specifically remember that because the nose piece they gave me was ridiculously itchy. The little elephant trunk that they had put on my nose was so itchy. I wanted it off of me the second it was on, and I was just like standing there like just having no idea what was going on except the fact that my nose itched like hell.
Oh, that's so pure. Did you ever have a costume dragon that maybe you didn't like so much?
Oh, I swear. So at my school, we did the musical Singing in the Rain, which is based somewhere between the 1920s to the 40s. I don't remember. Golden Age of Hollywood.
Roses are roses.
But yeah, I all of our costumes are from people who've donated them because we are like a less fortunate school, but it's fine. But we were struggling so hard this one day to find a costume that would look good on me and fit. And I swear, we found this one costume that we all liked that would look okay on me, but there was like 7 holes in it and they could not be fixed. So we had to go back, and it took us a good 2 or 3 tries. And that was like 2 hours later after going through all the costumes and stuff. And then we found it. The one.
The one. Is your, what do you call them? Do you call them a costume closet? Because that's what we called them at our school, and it was huge.
We call ours a rat room.
Rat room? That works.
There's a bunch of rats in it. Or at my middle school, that's what we called it.
Ooh, okay. Did you ever have to clean it?
That was the scariest part, honestly, was cleaning it.
The last time I went into one of those things was in high school, and it was filled to the brim with clothes. Like they had the bars to hang hangers on, like lining the walls, lining the middle of the room. You could barely navigate through it. It was like a huge closet, and there were still boxes of clothes under them, and there was like old band uniforms from like previous years that somehow theater got their hands on. Like, oh my goodness. Was it ever like that for your school? Because I can't imagine cleaning one of those things.
I remember going into the room where we had all the band, like, performance clothes in. I swear, I hated going into there because you think it's all organized and stuff, but there's just, like, random clothing in the boxes, and there's so many boxes upon so many shelves. And then I went into, like, the theater, like, where we had all of our clothes for theatrical performances for, of course, theater. And it was nice and organized, literally the opposite of what I thought it would be.
It's the polar opposite from my school.
Honestly.
You could find random socks in the uniform room, but that's as close to disorganized as you were gonna get.
You could find like a ton of like hats and stuff in the theater room. Don't know why or how. We just had them.
Did you have a favorite hat?
Yes, this one cowboy hat. I wore it around school for a day. Best memory.
Did your guys' schools ever allow like dressing up for Halloween in that sense? Like, did you ever get to do that at school? Or were they strict? In elementary school.
I don't remember what it was like in middle school. I feel like some people did like dress up, but within dress code. Like there was some stuff that was allowed and some stuff that wasn't. But I remember elementary school, everybody dressed up, and then we walked in a line around the parking lot, showing everybody off or something.
I did that when I was in like first grade. You never did that for high school?
I don't think high school was much of a thing either. I don't know. I feel like it was probably the same situation where it's just like some people might have dressed up, but like within dress code.
What about you, Dragon? Did it ever work out for you? Did you ever get to dress up in high school?
In high school, I didn't. If they ever gave us a dress-up day, I'd just come to school in my pajamas because, you know.
I do actually remember that happening. I think I've done that before.
They like dress up for Halloween or something, and you're just like, I'm just gonna come in my pajamas. They should be happy I'm here.
Pajama days for days.
Honestly, I remember in elementary school though, it was a Halloween dress-up day, and I wore my sister's clothes because she was like her older clothes. She's like 6 years older than me. And they asked me what I was, and I was like, my older sister. They were like, that is not acceptable, but okay.
Damn.
Because this is like 2008. I was wearing one of her like tube tops to school. Mind you, I was in first grade, and oh boy.
Pure thought, thinking of a first grader wearing a tube top. I'm just like my big sister.
And she...
I'm a prostitute.
No! Oh my goodness.
I remember the exact brand too, like what the shirt was like looking like and stuff.
Nice.
My haunting memory about clothes from middle school was we had twin day.
Oh my gosh.
And so me and my cousin, we actually went out to like, I don't even remember what store it was, like Ross or something, and we bought the exact same clothes for it, and we were so excited, and we were both wearing skirts, right? But she didn't get scolded for it, but I did. Was a teacher came up to me and she said, that skirt violates the dress code, and I just looked at her, my little 4th grade self just looked at her, and she goes, it doesn't go down to your fingertips. And I put my arms down to my side and I was like, it does go to my fingertips. And she's like, that's unacceptable. And it was at the end of the day too, so I was like, why are you even telling me this? The more ironic part is that was my cousin's teacher.
It's not even your teacher though, but you guys are wearing the same thing, so that what?
Did you guys do spirit days in middle school or high school?
What is that?
Spirit days. Usually they were just random for middle school and stuff, but for high school it was like we had a spirit week prior to prom, or we had it prior to like the homecoming game or something.
Oh, that kind of thing. I vaguely remember it as a concept, but I have no idea what it entails.
Okay, well at my school we had a whole entire week of dress-up days heading up to homecoming and prom. But like the last day before homecoming, it was like bikers versus surfers. So you know from like Teen Beach Movie, so the upperclassmen were bikers and the underclassmen were surfers. I came to school that day in a pair of shorts and a Hawaiian shirt. It was the best day of my life.
I think that was the best time to be alive, was during spirit days. We used to have like crazy hair days, and that was when everyone broke out the like spray paint hair color. Did no one do that in your states?
I don't remember like any of that because I didn't participate and just didn't care. I like block a lot of high school out of my mind. I remember middle school a lot more than high school. I peaked in middle school.
The more you know. No, I just remember the smell of aerosol in the field.
Oh, nice.
Of people just spraying each other's hair with like sparkly sparkly hair color stuff, or sometimes it was just like red or something, and it was really vibrantly colored, and I can't figure out for the life of me where they got it because I could never find it.
Honestly, I remember on Spirit Days too, some girls would wear like sparkly like tutus and stuff. I couldn't get with it.
We had a group of people that would do that every Friday. Their name was Student Council.
Oh gosh.
Stuco was always wearing like bright red tutus because, like, you know, that was our school color, red. But they would blast music during lunchtime and then like be all in spirit because they our school ran it like every Friday was a spirit day sort of thing. Every Friday is something to celebrate because it was the last day of school of the week. So they were always like blaring music, and it was great. But let's be honest, we weren't those kids.
Yeah, no, honestly.
What was I know, Zeke, you said you blocked most of it out, but do you remember any spirit days that maybe you liked or you managed to participate in?
I mean, like, I have school stories, but I don't know if they're like spirit day story. Like, I don't know. Nothing that really comes to mind. Like, I sort of remember that these things happened, but if they were like, because I didn't participate in the dress up thing, because like I'm a dude, I don't really care about dressing up. Like, so I didn't participate in like dress up days. Maybe like actually I remember in middle school the hat day or whatever that we had, you had to buy a ticket. It was like $5 to be able to wear a hat on hat day. You had to buy a little $5 thing that says, yes, I'm allowed to wear a hat. I didn't get to buy a hat day ticket. So that was annoying, but whatever. There's, I don't know, I think my friend brought like a fedora or something.
Aww. We had something similar in my first school, which would have been like from K through 3rd for me, because I moved schools after that. But we had something where, because we wore uniforms, where we would pay like $1 for a ticket, and we could come to school that next day with like just street clothes on instead. It was called Free Dress Day, and it was like $1 though. I just kind of sat there every time, and I was like, why are we paying to be out of uniforms?
Gotta make money.
Gotta make money. Did your school do uniforms?
No, I never had a uniform. I was super lucky with schools. I never had a uniform, and almost all my schools were single floor. One of the high schools I went to was 2 floors, but everything else was a single floor. So I got super lucky with that. I never had to deal with steps or uniforms.
What about you, Dragon?
Honestly, if you didn't have to wear a uniform like any time in your life for school, you're lucky.
That's true. Did you wear uniforms in middle school or high school?
In elementary school I did for a little bit, and then I moved schools, but that was really it. I remember the uniform still. Didn't enjoy it though.
They always reasoned that the uniforms were so if you got lost or something, we could find you again. But I feel like that was the most bull claim they could have ever said, because my entire district wore the same uniforms.
Exactly.
You don't know which school I came from. We were all the same colors. Wow. It was all terrible.
There was one time a teacher tried to tell me that like we had to wear uniforms so no one would get bullied, we'd be treated as equal, and I was like,
That is such a lie.
What's that logic?
There are arguments for the uniform thing. I mean, a lot of it's like, some of it's the idea of like a group conformity sort of thing. It's like everybody looks the same, everybody has to wear the same thing, everybody sort of works together. And I mean, part of that's why like military outfits still have uniforms and all, because part to identify that a person's in the military, but also like amongst themselves they still have to wear their uniforms because it's like it's what they do. They're all the same, they're all soldiers, and they're all identified, and they're all exactly there for the exact same reasons, and they wear the same things because of that.
That's true. I mean, to be honest, though, I feel like that claim of you're not going to get bullied if if everyone's wearing the same thing is such a lie. Such a lie.
Yeah, people are always going to find a reason to not like you.
That's true. Have you you ever thought about the concept of watching, like, I don't know, watching kids get bullied is just kind of like really sad, but at the same time it's just like toughens them up a little bit, right? Do you ever hear that argument as a kid? Like, parents used to argue, it's good to get bullied, it toughens them up. Like, yeah, that's great, but kind of not.
Great and all, but like...
kind of not.
Probably not, yeah. Probably not.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Middle school. We all went to middle school. Those Zeke vaguely remembers.
I actually liked middle school.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't.
I peaked in middle school. Middle school, I had this is when I had my first relationships. That was middle school. That was the fun times. I had a lot more friends in middle school too. High school was weird. I was only in high school in general, sort of, for 2 years, but I went to like 2 different high schools for 1 year each, and the first one was an alternative school with like 20 people in my class, which was all right. I have fun stories from that, and I actually met like my best friends that I still talk to like all the time at that school, and that was all right. And then the second year was at a school where I knew like nobody, and I only like. My only friends, especially at the start, were just like this kid who was my neighbor, because like I moved and then I found this guy, and then we like introduced at like my birthday party or something, because my mom convinced me to go down and try to meet the guy. I was with some other friends and they were like, yeah, let's go do it. So we tried to meet him and we talked to him for a little bit, and then he came over and we talked, and then it's like whatever, and then I didn't see him at all until school started again, and then we both got on the bus, and then we started talking there, and then I think the only thing we really had in common was that we both played Minecraft or something. So it's like, yeah, we were friends because we both played Minecraft and we were neighbors. So I ended up just like hanging around this guy, and I was just friends with his friends or whatever at lunch, because we would just sit there. So it took me a while to find my own group of friends, but I only stayed at that school for a year. I didn't even complete the year. I ended up I left the school. I left the school when the seniors left, because I had some senior friends, and I was just like, I'll just leave with them. So I left high school. I actually left high school to go to college, because I was like done with high school. I was just like, all of high school is fucking stupid. I can totally do college, and I totally did college for like 3 semesters, and then I left college as well because I was like, I don't want to do college, because I had no fucking clue what I wanted to pursue in college. I had no idea what my major would be, and like I didn't like English was a huge problem too. I don't like writing and there's a lot of writing in college, and so I failed English like twice, and I just didn't want to keep going. So at this point in life, I'm kind of doing nothing. But school was weird. Middle school was great though. Middle school was great. High school was a mess. I mean, I have fun stories from everything, but I think in general, middle school is probably the best.
For me, it was the huge contrary. Everything was terrible until high school. Had no friends. I started dating someone in like 8th grade, got instantly cheated on. Like, nah, middle school wasn't for me.
Cheating in 8th grade. That's
cheating in 8th grade. That's like, whew.
That's definitely not a serious relationship. Definitely not.
Of course not. I still thought it was stupid because he dated a girl in his class because I wasn't in his class, right? And so he was also dating a girl in his class, and I was on the field like every kid should be during lunch, and I talked to her. We were like mortal enemies for a while because I didn't like her. But then I was like, yeah, no, I'm dating this guy. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm dating this guy. I was like, oh, well, that's not good. And I broke up with him in that same day.
Uh-huh.
Did you guys survive your middle school relationships?
No. I only brought it up because that's when it happened, but the first one was like... The first one was 2 months, and then the second one was 2 weeks, and then in high school I had a girlfriend for 2 days. So that was fun.
What about you, Dragon?
Oh, I had one relationship, and then that didn't end too well. So we're young and we're stupid. It's whatever. We learn and we wait. We make mistakes and then we learn.
Most of us, anyway.
I mean, I definitely don't know how to speak English. What did I learn from English class? Like, stuttering is a great thing.
I have a question for you. Does anyone remember, like, English class, like, test, where they would shove, like, an article in front of you?
Yeah, and
then
like,
tell you to, like, write on it and answer questions, and it was like,
It's like, I can just look at the questions, not write on it, and just, boom, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that.
I was really good at English when it was multiple choice, because I was good at comprehending and understanding the English text and all, but I don't like writing. I did actually find what's probably my favorite book. It's super up there in terms of like favorite book. It's a super old book, and I found it through like a test. It was like a section in a test, and I just loved the way that it was written, and it had like a little citation that was like this book by this author, and I just remembered it in my head, and I came back to it after the test, and I looked it up, and it was on Amazon. It was completely free digitally, because it was such a super old book that people just had like scans and translations of it just online for like copyright free, because it's ridiculously old. And I read it and I was like, this is actually really interesting. It's like a super good book. It was like terribly old.
what book was it?
It's called Pan by I think it's pronounced Knut. Knut Hamsun. I always thought it was Nut Hamsun because it's Knut, but it might actually be Knut. But yeah, it's crazy old. I don't know. Part of me I like it because I sort of relate to the main character, because he's really awkward, I guess, but in like really strange ways. And I just found like the way it was written, I felt like it was really interesting to me, because it was just so old and so like verbose, and so like the vocabulary was interesting, and every little detail was like described in like these unique and brand new ways. And it's like, this guy, he's talking about this girl that he likes and whatever, and he's just talking about like the way that he likes his fingers, and I'm like, nobody writes like this anymore.
The way that he likes his fingers?
No, the girl's fingers. He's like looking at her fingers, and he was just like admiring her fingers, and it was just like, nobody writes like this anymore. Everybody's like, oh, she's super hot, and then that's it. It's like, oh, she's a 10. She's the most gorgeous I've ever seen. But no, like they wanted to get into detail of like, this guy admires these features about this girl that he really likes, and their relationship was very, just a very interesting book. I don't want to like spoil it. I mean, I don't really think anybody listening to me will actually go out of their time to read it, but I don't want to spoil it either way. But it's just a very interesting book.
Dragon, do you have a favorite book?
It's this book that I had to read for English in 8th grade. It's called Anthem by Ayn Rand. It's pretty good, actually. I think it's still like my favorite book that we ever had to read for a class. Because like now you have to read things like Great Expectations or something, and I didn't like that book. That book was boring. Sorry to anyone that likes it, but
that's my feeling on a Tale of Two Cities.
That was boring.
It's so hard to sit through, especially as a freshman. Come on.
I think
that's the thing about like books is nobody likes books because they only read like the books that schools force on you. That it's just like impossible that everybody will like any one specific book. It's like more people need to like be more adventurous with finding books and finding like genres that they might like, because reading is like so good for you.
Oh, absolutely. I just wish that maybe we forced upon books that weren't like all the same every year. Like, I noticed that depending on the teacher depends on how they force the books upon you, because my English teacher from my freshman year, she does a switch between some of the books each year, and she goes back and forth. So like one year they'll be reading like A Tale of Two Cities, the next year they're reading The Hobbit, which I feel really triggered on because of the fact that I got stuck reading A Tale of Two Cities.
I got to read The Hobbit.
Yeah, I've never had the opportunity to read The Hobbit, but okay. Were either of you forced to read The Odyssey?
Oh my, I hate that
That
book.
is such a long book.
She
So
made us
long.
buy books for this class, and then we never ended up using them and just read the book from the text, like from a textbook for the class, and that made me mad.
Wow.
Our teacher printed special copies that were like spiral bound for The Odyssey because it was just so long. And it was an edited version.
I remember like parts of it, but I don't remember if I've ever had to or had like read the whole thing, because I feel like I would actually read the whole thing just of my own volition nowadays, because I'm fine with like, because I read a lot. So I would totally dig that, and I'm interested in like in the Greek epics and the myths and all that. I don't remember if I was forced to read the whole thing though.
We were forced to read a majority of it, and it was still like a shortened version, which made me really sad. Were there any other like books that you guys liked or like disliked heavily in school?
Okay, back to my freshman year of high school. We had to read a lot of books that year, and none of them we actually completely read through, except for like To Kill a Mockingbird and Romeo and Juliet and stuff like that. But towards the very end of the year, we ended up reading The Great Gatsby. Not as a great book. I don't know, I just like stories like that are just there in like a new thought of, instead of just like the same repeated thought for like centuries. I don't know, I just really liked it.
You liked The Great Gatsby?
Yeah.
I read it 3 times and I still hate it.
My friend keeps telling me to read it. Apparently it's like super short, so I might knock it out one day.
Yeah, it's not
it is
like
short.
the longest book ever. It's a good size though.
I think
I didn't
the
get
only
to
thing
read
that I
it
ever
in
took...
Oh, no, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
I was gonna say, I didn't get to read it on my own, but when I was like in elementary school, the teacher read to us, and I like very distinctly remember because it was the Tripods books. Do you know those at all? I
don't.
I think that's what it's called anyway. I'm looking into it right now to see if I'm pretty sure it's the right thing. But it's these series of books where it's about these aliens that come down in tripods, and they're pretty old books apparently, yeah. But I just found it like really, really interesting books, and like the way she read it was just like stuck with me forever. I mean, I feel like that teacher instilled in me like a love or an interest in books just from those books alone, because they were so interesting to listen to.
I get that. In my 4th grade, I had a teacher that loved to read to us. I had a teacher that loved to read to us, and we went through the entire series of The Indian in the Cupboard, and I just absolutely loved it. If you've ever had the opportunity to read it, if you ever have the opportunity, you should read it, because it's they're kids' books, kind of, but they're pretty interesting. It was the idea of, like, putting a toy in a cupboard, and then opening that cupboard back up after locking it, and it was alive. It was kind of like a Toy Story thing, but with a catch to
I've
it.
seen the movie a few times.
It's so good. It's so pure. I loved it. Did anyone ever read or get read Holes?
Yeah.
I think so. I remember the movie. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I read the book.
I
feel
remember
like
reading part of it, but never finishing it and then going to watch the movie.
I loved that book. It was, I don't know why, but it always scarred me with the yams. The yams always scarred me. Oh my goodness. Was there, did either of you have a book that you read that maybe you thought going in that it was going to be absolutely terrible and then you actually liked? Or maybe the other way around where you thought you were going to like it and it was absolutely terrible?
I like intentionally read terrible books.
That's fair.
I just like sometimes I'll read books with just like ridiculously terrible grammar, but just because I like to see where they go, or just like really bad stories just because I like to see, like, because I don't pay as much attention to the book as I think more about like the author and like how the author's mind thinks, and just like where any of this nonsense comes from. It's always so interesting to just sort of think about that kind of thing when I'm reading just like really bad books.
That's awesome. Can you give us a name for one?
There's one author I like on Amazon. I mean, I think he must be like Chinese or something, and so the translation turns out being really weird, but his writing style in itself is also like really bizarre. And just like the way he describes things, I gotta look up the name. It's like Nathan something. But I think he's got a couple books. I feel like his more recent ones, he's got like editors or gotten like better at it. But some of his other ones is just because, like I said, I read just a lot of on Amazon on my Kindle, and because they have Kindle Unlimited, where it's like people can put their thing up on this system, and then it's basically like a renting thing where you just like you borrow these books that are on Kindle Unlimited, and then you can return them. And it's like
It's like a library.
Yeah, it's like $10 a month for Kindle Unlimited, but then you can borrow as many as you want. So if you read more than 3 books in a month, then you've already made up your money, because most of them end up being $4 or $5. Or I mean, some of them are only like 2 or 3, but so it
Hashtag
really
not
just depends on
sponsored.
what you read. I don't know, I'm just talking about it. I think it's like Nathan Valerio or something like that.
Never heard of that. I might look into him then.
I
like
mean,
reading.
if you want to, they're
like
a
the
mess.
intentionally bad ones. Those are always fun.
Yeah. It's not like intentionally bad. That's the whole thing of it too. Is it's not intentionally bad. It's a guy who's trying his hardest to make like a story, and it's always like it's an interesting enough story, and I can see where he's always coming from, but it's still so like ends up being so bad because of the translation, or just like the way things are described. Yeah, Nathan Valerio. I like the Blind Familiar series.
Okay.
He's gotta get a third book. I'm waiting on a third book out of this guy. He's set up so many things. He sets things up and then he just forgets about them. And I just like, I need him to come back to these things. He has like something buried, literally buried. And I just like, I need him to unearth this thing that he's buried.
It's so precious. Dragon, I know we're cutting close on time to an hour, so we'll probably start wrapping things up soon. But is there any books that maybe you thought were really goofy, or like maybe intentionally bad or unintentionally bad?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever read a book that made me think this is pretty bad. Like, there was a book that I thought that was going to be super good that was like pretty okay, but I don't know. Like, In my free time, I used to read memoirs, and there's this book that I read. It's called I actually forgot what it's called. I've read it recently too. That's an oof. It was like it's something about stars. I forgot, but it's this guy like talking about like how he's going to escape North Korea. Like it was pretty interesting. I'm gonna figure out what it's called. I own this book and I don't even know where it is. Hold up. But yeah, it started off okay. Oh, it's called Every Falling Star. It's by this guy named Song Joo Lee. It's pretty good.
Stuff. Good stuff.
It's that good stuff.
I remember being really disappointed with a trilogy where I like the first two books, but then the third book feels like it's written by an entirely different person. It was so weird because it's like it was this fantasy thing, but like the third book just like completely changed like how the magic worked in like contradictory ways, and like the character motivations were all like way askew, and there was like one thing that was literally never mentioned, because there's at the end of the second book, one character loses their arm and then it gets replaced with like a magic arm, but it's never mentioned in the third book. So I'm very convinced that these were written by two different people, and it was just so ridiculous. It's like why would you even release this without at least like looking at it and trying to make sense of like, because these it just didn't even feel like it continued the story at all, because it was just like, yeah, the characters are there, but they're not the same, and there's just like nothing's the same. It was just so annoying and ridiculous that it went like that.
Maybe the author hit his head before he wrote the book.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes stories are just so elaborate you forget the small details, or like sometimes even major details, let's be honest.
I'm just like all of the details.
I feel you. We spent a long time on books there. There's some good books out there.
I could talk about books for like days.
That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get into any of the Shakespeare plays? Maybe?
A little bit.
A little bit? Just a little?
Mm-hmm. I read the Caesar one at some point. I remember that was in high school. I was just like, the English class in high school I did not give a shit about. I mean, a lot of English classes I just didn't give a shit about because I didn't want to do the writing works, but whenever like tests rolled around, I just fucking did them super quick, and then just like I got a decent grade anyway. Or just sometimes I just failed it and they pushed me through. But so I never really gave a shit about English class, and a lot of my English teachers were total pushovers about it. Like in one of my in the first year of high school at the fucking at the alternative school, I just started sleeping through that specific class. On like every day I would just be sleeping, or I would just pull out like one of the books she had and just read instead of paying any attention to what she was talking about, because it was shit that I already knew. Because English class, like every single English class, to me anyway, just felt like they were reviewing something that I already learned. It's just like, yeah, I fucking know how punctuation works. I don't I don't need this information anymore. So I just never gave a shit about English class. So I just like, and that was one of the books I read in my second year, was just like at English class. In the textbook they had the Caesar. They had a pretty good chunk of it, or anyway. So I would just pull that out and I would just read that, and I just wouldn't give a shit about what she was talking about, and she just kind of let me do my own thing, because I wasn't being disruptive or anything. I was just sort of ignoring her, and she was just like, all right, fine, whatever.
I getcha. I feel like there's always that one class that you couldn't sit through.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have one of those classes, Dragon?
Honestly, almost every class is like, no, I'm joking. Like maybe right now it's probably chemistry, because like chemistry is just boring, and I'm in an honors class, so it's dumb.
Really? Are you guys not doing any labs or anything?
I mean, we do them, but like right now we're just taking notes, and then we're gonna take a test in like a week.
Oh.
It's just boring. I don't find chemistry interesting.
I think it's always dependent on the teacher in that sense.
I mean, like,
that's practically everything. If you don't have a good teacher, it's just not, or at least not like if you don't have a teacher that you're able to connect with, or just that works well on your level. Because I had my math teacher on sophomore year. I really liked the way she taught because I felt like she taught more at my level, but everybody else hated her because she was going way too fast for them. So I was picking up on all of it, and she was smart. We even talked about some stuff, like more like theoretical stuff or whatever. I would ask like a question at some point or whatever. I wasn't like a teacher's pet, I don't think, but I at least was like, I understood her a lot better than everybody else, so everybody hated her. She was a little mean too, but she was just mean to them and not to me because I didn't do anything that would make her mad at me. Well, there is actually one story that's kind of ridiculous with that teacher. And I love telling this story. So I don't like to write the work. I don't like to show the work. I like to do it all in my head and then just write down the answers. And for pretty much everything, she just let me get away with it because I think she sort of understood that I was doing it all in my head and whatever. And I still, I did well in the test, so it all that matters. So she never brought that up. But there was one assignment where it was like a group thing where you had like a partner or two people or whatever, and you went around the class with these posters on the walls. And you did the problems on the walls, and I had this other guy with me, and I was doing pretty much all of the work. I was thinking it through. I was like, oh, that's how you this is the answer, and he was writing it down because that's what he's used to, and I was just writing down the answers. So by the end of class, when we're just handing in the papers, I think because there was a lot of people around, because that guy was involved too, she had to sort of like give a message to the class. She had to put on a little face and be like, no, you're supposed to show the work, you're going to detention. Even though it's like she's never got on my ass before, but she had to then because like other people were aware of it. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm in detention now. She's like, you want to come into morning or after school? And I was like, morning makes more sense because I'm already going to be there anyway. So I just show up a little bit earlier and I just sit in the class or whatever, eat my breakfast, and but I get the idea in my head that if she's going to scorn me, I'm going to scorn her. And the one thing she always does, because this is the morning class, this is the homeroom, and every morning, you stand for the pledge and you look at the flag or whatever, and if you don't stand for the pledge, she'll freak out about it. If somebody's sitting down, she'll like, you stand up. But I know that she can't actually do that. Like the laws were passed and whatever, people went to court over that. You can't actually tell somebody to stand for the pledge. So I decide, if she's going to do something to me, I'm going to do something to her. I'm going to sit right here. I'm not going to stand up. And if she tells me about it, I'm going to tell the whole class that she can't do it. And I'm going to ruin her day. But she doesn't call me out on it. She doesn't call me out on it at all because she knows that I already know. So I get to sit there, and for the rest of the year, I don't stand for the pledge at all, and she never calls me out on it. And there's, I think, like one guy was like almost like pointed it out or whatever, but he didn't like literally like draw attention to it. He was just sort of like upset about it, like, oh, come on, like, what about that guy, kind of thing. But like she completely ignored it because we never talked about it. But it was so like, that was the only explanation, was that she understood that as soon as she called me out on it, it would ruin her whole day for everybody, for her whole thing, for everybody involved. So it became this sort of silent, unspoken blackmail between us. So it's just like, don't fuck with me, woman. I will ruin your shit.
Alrighty. Well, it seems that story pushed us just to the edge of our time limit. I'm being told to end the episode. But I mean, let's be honest. The teachers are a pain in the butt, and especially like ones that are they think that they can run it just because they have the status of teacher. But stuff happens, and classrooms are always like a wacky place to be, dependent on the person running it. And I think we have plenty of stories, I'm sure, but we're gonna have to put them off. So, I'm Potato. You can find me on Instagram at Princess the Ripper. I don't recommend following me. Zeke, do you have any social media you want to direct them to?
Just go to my YouTube, Zeke the Gaff. It's blowing up for dumb reasons.
Good stuff. Dragon?
You can find me on Instagram at softly_dying, because I'm dying inside.
I love it. Alrighty. Well, this has been the podcast. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was good. That went well.